This is Rebecca, and I am just showing you kind of a look through of this new book that I found. So I was on Amazon, and they recommended this to me, and I was so excited. This is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Knit in the Neighborhood, official knitting patterns from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So this is a new book. I think this book was released in November 2022, and I didn't know it existed until this week. And as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to get it. It didn't really have much of a preview online as to like exactly what was in it. I knew there were like some sweater patterns and some toy patterns, but it didn't have like a full list. So this book is $24.99 US. I can't remember if I paid full price on Amazon or not. I was just so excited to get it that I went ahead and bought it. And part of the reason I'm so excited is I have looked in the past for knitting patterns, like Mr. Rogers inspired cardigan knitting patterns. I couldn't find anything. I did find a website that sells like Mr. Rogers cardigans, and I'm not sure if they're officially like an official license thing. I think they might be. I don't know. They're like in the range of like $200, $250, but they are made out of wool, so it's not like that's kind of like what wool sweaters cost. So it's not that insane. But I couldn't find any patterns. So when I saw they had official patterns, I was like, yes, please. So let's look through the book real quick. So we just got the first page here. What's Mr. Rogers doing? It's like he's trying to knit there. So this book, copyright 2022, the Fred Rogers Company. And I don't see it here, but on Amazon it said that it was released in November 2022. So here's our table of contents. So we got, I think 5 different adult cardigans, and then there's a junior cardigan, a baby cardigan, and a baby onesie cardigan. And then we have some puppet patterns. We have some Mr. Rogers inspired accessories. We have some like amigurumi toys. We have some blankets. And these are all knitting patterns. They don't have a crochet book. I don't know. Sometimes with like Harry Potter and Disney, they'll have a knitting book that comes out. And then they're so popular that they also made a crochet version, but don't know if that's going to happen with this book. One thing it says is projects knit from patterns in this book are for personal use only and are not intended for resale. So usually the way patterns work is if you buy a pattern from somebody for like a blanket or a sweater, usually when you buy the pattern, you also have a right to sell that object. The only exception is when the item is something that's like trademark or like a copyright. And so like something, I don't know, like Disney or something My Little Pony or something Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Until it goes into public domain, technically, if you try to make these items and sell them, technically they could come after you for copyright violation. But I just wanted to make a note of that, so it's different than some patterns that you buy. So I haven't read through this yet, but I know it talks about his cardigans and how his mom made them for him. And then we have our sweater patterns. I'm going to have to cover these up. So first off, we have the famous red cardigan. So they call it the Friendly Neighbor cardigan. And they used Universal Yarn Deluxe Worsted Superwash Wool in 736 Christmas red, number 4 size. So you can use any number 4 worsted weight yarn. They're using a red superwash wool. Then it has like these cute little captions here, like Mr. Rogers experienced red-green color blindness, the most common form of color blindness. One day he asked a coworker to taste the soup he brought for him and tell him if it was pea or tomato soup. When asked why, he responded that if it were tomato soup, he would add sugar to it. Sorry, that was my cat being scared of my bunny. Anywho, so let's see, we've got a friend card in the back. There's diagrams. And let's see trying to see how many different sizes they have. So they have a lot of different sizes. You got a chest of 34.5 inches all the way up to 60 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sizes. I think this would be like extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, double, triple. I don't know. They got a lot of sizes. Anywho, so that is the famous red cardigan, and it looks like they have you put a zipper on it. Now, I've been in the process of knitting a sweater for a while, and I have never put a zipper on anything, so that would be fun. I'm just looking here to see if it says anything about how to do that. I think you might just have to look up or maybe it probably says at the end of the book maybe how to do that. Anyway, next up, this is called the Beginnings Cardigan. So this has some ribbon on the sleeves. Just stockinette stitch on the body and then ribbed sleeves. For this one they used Barocco Comfort, superfine acrylic, superfine nylon, and 9782 Chianti. So that is also a 4-weight yarn. So it's kind of a it's like kind of maroon but a little bit lighter. Not sure. Then we got a diagram and another picture. This one also has a zipper. I think all of Mr. Rogers' cardigans pretty much had zippers on them. This one is called the Generosity Cardigan. So this one's kind of like a taupe color. It's like mostly stockinette stitch, and then it has ribbon near the zipper and on the sleeves. And for this one they use Patton's Classic Wool Worsted Wool in Heather, and that's also a number 4. So far all of these, well, it says reverse stockinette stitch. What is that? Reverse stockinette. It looks like the back side, like the back side of a stockinette stitch. Interesting. Where does this say? This cardigan brought an entirely different look to Mr. Rogers' wardrobe. Ribbon is picked up along the front and neck and finished off a tiny black trim detail. So yeah, it's a little different. Alright, and then there's diagrams, there's instructions for like the back, the left front, right front sleeves, and then finishing. And then here's a closer up picture of the ribbon and the zipper. Okay, then next up we have one called Nurture Cardigan. So this one has a cable. There's the one that it's inspired by. For this one they used, never heard of this yarn. I've really never heard of this yarn. Sandness yarn, alpaca wool, color 7755 emerald. What? That's like in a different language. But yeah, also a worsted 4-weight. So it says how to do the cable pattern. Has the back of the cardigan, the left front, the right front, finishing, and then kind of a close-up of the zipper area on that one. Sorry, I'm trying not to show the whole patterns for copyright reasons. Okay, and then we have the last adult cardigan. This is the Beautiful Day cardigan. So if you look closely, the original cardigan has a bit of a halo on it. So it looks like maybe this was some kind of mohair. So then the one they have also has a halo to it. And then this one has multiple cables on the front. And for this one they used Morocco Ariel Super Kid mohair and slash silk and free 4 free 5 goldenrod. Hello Watson. Which sweater do you want, baby? So again, we got the cable pattern, we got the back, left front, right front, sleeves, and finishing. And then here's a more close-up look. So we've got 6 cables in the front. And then I think 1 cable down the arms. And again, they have a zipper on this one. So yep, there's 5 adult zip-up cardigans. Definitely I need the classic cardigan. Classic red cardigan. I need one of these. And then I also really like, and who knows when I'm going to get around to having time to make these, but I also really like this cardigan. So someday I am going to make a cardigan. Probably after I finally finish that sweater, but who knows when that will be. Anyway, moving on. We also have a kids cardigan. So this says it's for children 2 to 6 years old. Worked in superwash merino. Oh, so this is like the previous one. It says worked in superwash merino rather than mohair to ensure it is an adorable garment for even the most active of kids. And here's a cute little snippet. Mr. Rogers kept every drawing and letter he received, and he made it part of his daily routine to respond to every piece of fan mail from his young viewers. Each response was personalized and never a form letter. That's one thing I read, that he would spend hours every morning responding to fan mail and praying for people. And he's just so wholesome. Mr. Rogers was such a good guy. And then for this sweater they use Judy Long Chow and superwash extra fine merino wool and 027 primrose, and they used a number 3 or DK weight yarn. And they have sizes for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and 6 years. And then again we got instructions for back, left front, right front, sleeves. Got a close-up of the front. And then we have a baby size. It's called the Baby Rogers cardigan. So they have sizes for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. This is the 12-month size. And for this one, they used Morocco Ultra Wool Fine Superwash Wool and 5 free 122 sunflower. And they use a number 1 weight yarn, fingering weight yarn. So this is a thin yarn. says, so this is a raglan style sweater, or cardigan. Has instructions for raglan shaping, and then we've got these, looks like these are all constructed similarly. You got a cardigan back, you got a left front, a right front, and sleeves, and then finishing. And then the final like cardigan kind of thing is they have the Baby Rogers onesie. So this is for babies 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months is the sizes they have. This was made in, oh, is that company against Sandnes Garn Sisu wool/nylon and 8031 Chino screen. And look at this. Isn't that cute? So this one, let's see, it has a onesie back, it has a front, and has a right front, and sleeves, and then finishing instructions. Sorry, I can't show the instructions because I can't show the full pattern. And then next up we have some puppets. So of course these are like knit versions of some of the puppets that he would have when they go to the neighborhood of make-believe. And I'm telling you right now, I gotta make Daniel Tiger. So first up we got Daniel Striped Tiger. There's the original one. And here is their knit version. And he is super cute. And this would probably work up relatively fast because it's made with Lion Brand Gopher Fleece Sherpa in the colors 158 Honey and 124 Clay, and it says that's a number 7 weight yarn. I've used Gopher Faux. I haven't used Gopher Fleece. Hopefully that's still, hopefully I can still get this same yarn. Have to look into it. Yep. And I've never knit an amigurumi before, but I mean the instructions seem pretty simple. How many rows is the body? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's not that many rows because it's a thick yarn, so yeah. And then here we have the front and the back. And then they have a pattern for King Friday the 13th puppet. For this one they use Lion Brand Heartland, Lion Brand Basic Stitch Anti-Pillin, Lion Brand Woolies, Lion Brand Gopher Faux Thick and Quick, and Lion Brand Pond Bonds. So it's kind of like a Lion Brand sampler here. So here we have the original puppet, and then we have their knit version of the puppet. So I like to go for faux on his coat. So cute. And there's just a close-up of his hand, and his head, and his crown. And then there's the back of his coat. So I'm not sure what they're using here. Is that the bonbons? I don't know what Lion Brand bonbons are. And then here we have the King and Queen. And I believe next up is Queen. So Queen Sarah Saturday puppet. They use a variety of yarns here. Universal Yarn Uptown DK, number 3 weight. Zeddy Yarns Cotton Gold. Any metallic gold and metallic silver, number 2 weight yarn. And then Lion Brand Gopher Faux Thick and Quick. And 098 Baked Alaska, number 7 weight yarn. So this one, the eyes kind of creep me out, honestly. But Uh, so yeah, I wonder what that is. Gold cord. Yeah, they got a lot of different accessories that you need to finish these ones. And then we got a close-up of her hand, bottom, and then the back of her head. Gosh. Okay, and then we have an X the Owl puppet. So this is what he looked like in the show, and this is her knit version. And for this one, they use Universal Yarns, Uptown DK, a couple different colors, small amount of similar weight yarn in black, and polyester stuffing. So this one has like not as many embellishments, I guess. Like pretty much everything is yarn in this one. So that's nice. The king and queen have lots of little embellishments that you can add on. So then this is a close-up of his face and the back. And then next up we have some accessories. So this first one is like very, is this the 70s? The 80s? 90s? I don't know when this is. Probably like late 80s. But this is called the Colorful Curtains scarf. So it's inspired by the curtains that would be behind him on the show. For this one they used Rowan felted tweed in a lot of different colors, which is a number free weight yarn. Of course you could use any number free weight yarn. And it says the curtains in Mr. Rogers' home stood out for their colorful and almost chaotic pattern, quite a contrast to his calm, orderly persona and the way he conducted himself. It is noteworthy that his curtains were always open and never shut out his neighbors. So there is a close-up, and then they have like a diagram over here. So you could also follow this diagram in crochet if you wanted to, if you know how to do like graph gan type things. So next up, these I don't know if these are meant to be put on babies. It says Baby Rogers sneakers. So of course Mr. Rogers had his blue sneakers, and these are just like mini versions of that. Oh yes, they are for babies. They have a 3 months, a 6 months, and a 12 months size. And this is made in the Bernat Softy Baby in white and navy, and that is a number free weight yarn. Oh, what's this? In 1976, the crew of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood decided to play a little prank. When Mr. Rogers went to change out of his sneakers and into his outdoor shoes, he found that they were too small for his feet and laughed heartily. Watch this outtake online at mrrogers.org. Videos, Mr. Rogers put on shoes. So, if you go to this website, apparently they have clips. So I'll have to check that out. Okay, so I guess that was 70 colors back there. I couldn't remember how old the Mr. Rogers show was. I know I watched it when I was little, but I think they had just stopped making it at that point. So here's a close-up of the baby booty. And then this is interesting. We have a knit necktie. So this is made with a finger and weight yarn. It's Sandnes garn, alpaca silk. I wonder where this yarn is from. But yeah, we got like a straw yellow, golden brown, and dark terracotta. It says this is worked with 2 strands of yarn held together. Worked on a bias from the wide end to the narrow end. I don't know enough about knitting to tell you if this is like a specific stitch pattern, but it looks relatively easy. Wonder if my boyfriend would wear a knit tie. Be funny. While his wardrobe is best known for tennis shoes and cardigans, Mr. Rogers wore a necktie more often than not. These were usually in colors more conservative than his bright cardigans. So then, I'm not sure what they're doing here. I think sewing up the cardigan. Oh yes, they're whip stitching it together to make a point on the scarf there. Alright, next up we got Mr. Feely's Speedy Delivery Hat. So this was, I think they're mailman? Delivery man. So it's just a cap. It says Speedy Delivery across the front. And then they have some kind of button here. It says 2 half-inch gold buttons. They use another yarn I'd never heard of before, Jagger Spun Main Line. I'm so confused. Jagger Spun Main Line Free AF Sport Wool Williamsburg Blue, and it's 2 weight. Okay. And then they use okay, so it's all sport weight yarn. And then here it is on that kid from earlier. And then we have some toys. And look at our little amigurumi Mr. Rogers. Isn't that adorable? I kind of doubt that I can do this because I've never knit amigurumi. If you give me a crochet pattern, I could definitely do it. I kind of want to learn how to knit them though. They just look so cute. So anyway, see what toys we got in here. So we got the neighborhood trolley. I'll knit up. And they used a 4 weight yarn for this. They used Cascade Yarns, Peruvian Highland wool in a couple different colors. I'd probably just use acrylic personally. Got all of our amigurumi instructions. Got another picture of the trolley. This is cute. Fish food and food shaker. So there's Mr. Rogers feeding his fish. And then, so it looks like they have, I think these are all the same style of fish. Yeah, they're just in different colors. So, and then you can also knit the food shaker. And I saw this is cute. Mr. Rogers often took time to feed his fish in his fish tank during his show. Whenever he did it, he would announce it. This was because a blind viewer once asked him to do so that they would know the fish were okay. That's sweet. Okay, so we got instructions for the fish in the shaker. And then we have our Mr. Rogers doll, which isn't that adorable? So cute. And this, they also made them 4 weight yarn. They also use Cascade Yarns, Peruvian Highland again. Again, I would probably just use acrylic if I made this. That's usually what I do with my amigurumi. And then they have a picture of him with a, honestly this doll is not as cute, but yeah, I don't know what the story behind that guy was. Yeah, that is so cute. Mr. Rogers' achievements: he was a high school student president, earned a Bachelor of Music degree, became an ordained minister, was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame, and received more than 40 honorary degrees. Wow. This book has a lot of interesting little tidbits. I'm not reading all of them, just some of the ones that stand out. So there's a close-up of his head. lots and lots of instructions here. So here's, they show a guy with a doll. Oh, Mr. A little puppet. I need to make that. I think I can actually do that one. And then they have 2 different shoes designed to put on him. And they just have a close-up of his tie. Yeah, lots of instructions. And then there's a set page of instructions for making little Daniel Tiger puppet miniature. Then we have a pattern for living room stoplight. I remember they had a stoplight in the show. I'm not really sure why. Does it say why? Not on this page. During the opening sequence of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the stoplight in the living room was always yellow. It was a reminder to viewers to slow down, perhaps even just a little. Okay. So there's just a close-up. And they probably use like, what do they use? Yep, the Cascade Peruvian Highland again. Again, I would probably just use acrylic. And then these are cute. Mini cardigans. These would be maybe cute as like Christmas ornaments too. Or I wonder, do these fit the doll? Knit for some dolls, decorations for a Christmas tree, motifs for a baby mobile, or even strung together as a garland. Mini hangers can be purchased or shaped out of crafting wire for extra fun. So I don't think they fit the doll that you make in this book, but they can fit maybe a Ken doll? I don't know. So I probably need to try to make one of these. That would be like good kind of amigurumi practice. And then here they show a picture of just a closet with some of his cardigans. And then the last section we have is blankets. So I think we have 3 blankets. We have the Won't You Be My Neighbor blanket. For this one they used Universal Yarn Deluxe Bulky Superwash Wool 915 Teal Vipers, and this is a 5 bulky weight yarn. So I believe this is mostly stockinette, and then they do purl stitches to make the letters. So we just have charts for that. Has the lyrics to Won't You Be My Neighbor. And then another famous quote, I like you just the way you are. Mr. Rogers adored his grandfather who once told him, Freddie, I like you just the way you are. That phrase had quite an impact on the young Mr. Rogers and became a loving motto that he shared with viewers many times. So sweet. This worked in the same yarn, the bulky 5 universal yarn. And then our diagrams. And then finally, we got a neighborhood trolley baby blanket. And this was made with Cascade Superwash wool in a couple different colors. Several different colors. So this one's made in panels. And then we got like diagrams for the different panels. We got a picture of just the 3 blankets folded up. And then we just have kind of our standard, very standard looking glossary of stitches, skill levels, the weight information, and then these are the different yarns that they used. This one, I like, what is that? Never heard of that. I'll have to look it up. Then we have instructions for finishing. So we have instructions for seaming. Oh, here we go, putting in a zipper. Yeah, I'm gonna need some help with that. Sewing in a collar. 4 of the 5 adult replica cardigans require knitting a collar separately and then sewing it into place. You may do so by folding the collar in half, the wrong sides held together, and then sewing for both thicknesses. or you can use the method below. The sweater I'm knitting now, the collar, I just knit into it, so I didn't have to separately sew it. And then it has instructions for adding buttons instead of a zipper. So it says you need extra yarn. Then it gives you instructions on making buttonholes. Has instructions for free needle bind off. No idea how to do that. It has instructions for the Kitchener stitch, which I've done before but I always forget how to do. Embroidery stitches, short row, wrap and turn. Oh, short rows got me so confused. I have to look up a video on that because I'm pretty sure I did that wrong when I made my sweater. The short rows kind of used to shape, and I got confused. Now we just have a glossary, and that is it. So that is the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Knit in the Neighborhood book. And I got mine on Amazon. I'm sure it's also available at other booksellers like Barnes and Noble. You know, maybe Walmart, your Walmart or Target might get it. I don't know. Books A Million. And of course, you can check your library. I checked my library because I kind of wanted to look at it because I didn't like it. They didn't really say on Amazon like what all was in the book. But my library system only has one copy, and it was in transit to one person and also on hold by another person, so I wouldn't have been able to get it for probably at least a month or two. So I just went ahead and got the book. So yeah, I want to thank you for watching. Let me just show you the glossary one more time. But I want to thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I love you just the way you are. And so does Watson. Right, bye-bye.